Hello, Neil. Dad's making a video. Hi guys, that's Millie and that's Polly back there. They're working with me today. It's bring your furry daughters to our work day. Anyway, what we're going to look at today is a few questions that I've seen that can all be pulled into like one topic. I don't even know what the title of this is going to be really. Somebody said, how do you write to how do you put a story together? They've got these ideas, but they don't know how to pull the story together. And another person said in another question in another forum was, should I start slow and build the pace up, or should I start fast? So these two things sort of work hand in hand. How do you put your story together? Well, the most important part about putting a story together is writing to an audience. Your audience will have expectations for a story. So you should actually meet your audience halfway, or meet your audience and then subvert their expectations, or find a way to bring the audience with you. But the audience has turned up with certain expectations. I saw the film Passengers. Chris, no, it doesn't matter. Guardians of the Galaxy guy and Hunger Games woman. So Jennifer Lawrence and I can't remember his name. Guardians of the Galaxy. If you watch the ads, I think that movie was destroyed by marketing. People say it was the biggest flop ever. If you watch it, it's actually a really good film. But when they put the ad together, it was rising music. The tension was getting up and up and up. And it was nearly like in space. No one can hear you scream. And I sat back and I like that sort of stuff. I went, oh, that's good. And me and Julie threw down our money, went to the cinema and watched it on the big screen. And it wasn't what we didn't mind it either. It was a good romance. It was a good love story set in space. That would have had a huge audience as well if they had told the truth. They didn't. The film writer and the filmmakers actually wrote to the expectations of the audience. Their marketing let them down. So if you've got a story and it's a horror film, it'll have to be scary, don't be boring, all those silly things that people say. But your audience will have an expectation. And as long as you've given them a few of the little things that they expect, a few of the tropes, if you like, a few of the things that there's going to be a monster, there's going to be a threat, someone is going to be under threat, we need someone to fear for. And then once we've got that horror convention set up and we've got the ground or the football field we're going to be playing on, then we can start modifying some rules. You can start moving it around. You can start putting a story together differently. But how do you put a story together itself? Well, a story has to be told through someone's eyes. There has to be a proxy for the audience. There has to be someone the audience can connect to. So saying, oh, there's 6 people going this way, you really don't know who those 6 people are going to be. So even if you've got something like The Magnificent Seven, everyone has their own personality, their own agendas, their own reasons for being there, their own ways of acting. So the audience can connect with these people individually in different ways. That is how you do it. But you have the one person, you have Chris, your Brenner with the bald head, the hat's back. He's the main character. He's the one that really is the audience's proxy. He's the one that's telling the story. We know that the village is, being attacked by raiders and Chris is going to defend them. It's a moral thing. We can attach using moral neutrality through Chris's actions. Even though he's killing people, he's doing it for a good reason. All the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, moral philosophies type stuff are involved in that movie. But that's the way we've put the story together. And the other way you put a story together is that it has to build. This scene has to push towards the next scene. If you take a scene out, it doesn't work. There has to be a progression. The story at the front is different to the story at the back. Some people call that a character arc, but you can have there and back again stories if you want. That works a lot in comedies. But the story needs to have a purpose. It must get some point across in the end. Otherwise, it's an art experience. You have to have given some message to the audience. The audience can then take it and metabolize it and do something with it. So make sure your story is put together in that way. The other thing, should we start slow and build or start fast? Action films tend to start fast. Thrillers will start slow. They'll start up with a bit of suspense and mystery. Love stories will probably have some sort of loving event that will show the normal world, and then we'll see maybe love get challenged and we'll see love come back together again. Romantic comedies have the meet cute at the start and then all the other tropes of a romantic comedy. There is no one pace or one style. Whether you start fast, you should always start with your biggest and best card. It's a bit like playing euchre. if you have that game in your country, where you put down your best card to draw everybody else's cards out and so you can see what's happening. It's just a gaming strategy. So you'll start with something interesting. You can't be boring. You can't have like a 10-minute, or as my brother says about the book Les Mis, he said it's a fantastic book if you take it the 125 pages about the internal working of the French Catholic Church. Victor Hugo, okay, a bit wordy. So start strong, start good, start with a good story. Give someone, and they say, hook, you've got to hook your audience. No, you've got to engage your audience. You've got to make them sort of engage and lean in a bit. So they go, I wonder what's happening next. I wonder what's happening next. And then even when once you've got them wondering what's happening next, you can give them a little bit of backstory. You can fill in their understanding, and that understanding might be needed later on. You don't put anything in there that isn't needed. I've watched David Mamet's masterclass, and he has a really good expression. He says, don't put anything in your backpack that you're not willing to carry. So don't put stuff in your story that you don't need, because you're going to have to carry it. You're going to have to explain it. You're going to have to utilize it. Otherwise, the audience is going to go, what the hell was that whole 25 pages about the French Catholic Church? So don't put it in your story if you don't want to carry it. The other thing that people were talking about was, is it a writer's moral obligation? And I'll put this question up here. I actually posed on Reddit. I said, anyone got any questions? And this was one of the questions. Is it like a moral obligation for a writer to comment on the morals, like Joker when he goes around killing those people? Well, Joker killing those people is an act by the protagonist, but the moral question of the movie Joker is actually stated by the character Joker just before he shoots Robert De Niro, when he says, what do you get when you cross, I think he says, a mentally ill person with a city who doesn't care? Exactly what you deserve. That's the moral of that story, is that he just needed help. And at every opportunity that was given to him was taken away from him by the city, by the rich, by turning their back on the poor, by having that people are poor because they choose not to work hard. People are no victim of circumstances. We don't need to help them. They need to help themselves. Teach a man to fish rather than give him all those sorts of things that people would say in those situations, or that were put across in that movie. So it wasn't the writers, it wasn't Todd Phillips's job to comment on the Joker was doing the wrong thing shooting people. He was showing that as an outcome of a city doing the wrong thing by people. That if you do the wrong thing, this is what you get. You store your petrol in a bucket with a box of matches, eventually your house is going to burn down, because it's an inevitability. So that having a house burn down would be a comment on the foolishness of storing petrol in an open bucket with a box of matches. So a writer does need to comment, but not comment on every moral issue. People can do immoral things and we still like them. We can hold two thoughts in our head. A person can be a nice guy and do something truly horrible. A truly horrible person can do a good thing. We don't have to always, though people want to reach moral neutrality. I'll do moral neutrality as a video coming up. I actually think it's a very good topic, understanding psychology and a little bit of not physics, a little bit of philosophy. It helps us with our writing. So that's it. You don't have to comment morally on everything, but you need to make sure that it is addressed in some way, or that if we're going to have a moral dilemma, that it is actually posed by the film and allows, like I said earlier, the audience to engage, asks them a question and gets the audience to solve it for themselves. That might even be a discussion point later on. I don't think my wife is a big fan of the movie Joker. She finds it a bit harrowing because she actually likes poor old Arthur. And I like Arthur too. But she sees his dilemma. She wants to fix him. She wants to solve him. She's like, if he had had, the Joker wouldn't have existed if he had gotten the help he needed, not he had. Okay, guys, if you would, it'd be fantastic. It's been really, really good. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the support. Everyone like Morris and everyone who's been putting in some time, some comments and sharing this on other platforms. It is truly, truly appreciated. And until next time, guys, keep writing. Bye.